To start, defrost whatever product you're using to the quantity that you need. After working with the shrimp, I washed my hands and am getting ready for the next step. The first thing that I'm doing is wiping down my counter with a wet paper towel to clean off the surface so that I can begin the prep work for the dish. After that, I went and washed my hands in preparation for the prepping for this dish. Gonna come around here and we can get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut my lime to get the fresh lime juice that I need. So in this clip, I am rolling the lime so that I can cut it, and hopefully the juices of the lime will come out nice and easy and not require much squeezing. Unfortunately, my camera angle did not come out as great as I thought, so I am deeply apologetic for this terrible angle of my back. So this is when I actually cut the lime. Unfortunately, you can't see it. I thought I was recording it at a better angle, but unfortunately I was not. There we go. So here you can actually see my cut lime, my blade, and the cutting board that I was using. Okay, so I got my 1/2 teaspoon here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go over a small bowl, just so that I don't splash everywhere. I'm going to try and squeeze what I need out of this lime. One teaspoon of lime, fresh lime juice. I'm going to throw this half in there, and I'll wrap up the other half for later. I'm gonna go over here and wash my hands. Measure out my paprika. Put this bowl aside. I don't need that anymore. That's my lime juice. Now what we're gonna do is prep the paprika. 1/4 teaspoon. So this one will go in this measuring cup because I didn't need anything larger. So here in this clip, I am tapping out the paprika into a measuring spoon over a bowl so that I can get an accurate measurement. Again, the camera angle is not great, but at least this time you can see a little more. Once again, go to the side, and we are now done with the paprika. The salt and the pepper we'll add later. We will do them in small increments because this recipe calls salt and pepper to taste. But we are going to prep our shrimp. So this shrimp is not deshelled, so I will have to deshell them, and I will do that now. I'm going to wash my hands again. I'm going to put on some gloves for this so that I have some extra grip. Okay, so now that we got our gloves on, I'm going to work my way through this shrimp. I have set these to defrost so that they are all ready to go. Just take off that. And now that shrimp is ready to go. No veins. These have already been deveined when they were purchased. And luckily the shells come off nice and easy. So here you see me de-shelling all of these shrimp. Now this took originally about 10 minutes. There was about a lot of shrimp. I can't remember how much. But unfortunately, again, the camera angle was not as angular as I thought it was, so it didn't catch me doing a lot of it. But you can see my hand sporadically going over to the right side, and that's me throwing the shells into that orange bucket. While I was de-shelling the shrimp, I would be checking the actual cut itself to make sure that there was no veins in it. And I would also check to make sure that there was no leftover shells in it, just to make sure that quality was high. Alright, so that is all the shrimp. This bag will be sealed so that none of that juice comes out. I'm going to wash my hands again. Alright, so we have our shrimp, our bowl of shrimp. We are going to cook this in a pan or a skillet next to me. I'm going to move my other ingredients off to the side so that they don't get warm. I'm going to put them over here for a quick sec. Alright, medium-high heat. So here I am measuring out the 2 tablespoons of olive oil that I need for the pan. And as you can see, I am measuring 4.5 tablespoons to equal the 2 whole that I need. So we got our olive oil. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to grab some paper towels and wipe the oil that's on the stovetop. Yep, so all I'm doing here is just wiping the stovetop just to get all that excess oil that spilt out and keeping it clean so that we don't have anything burning. We have that. Stovetop is pretty clean. Medium to high heat. So that'll be about there. You want this oil to heat up. And then we'll add our shrimp in. And as these are seasoning, or as these are cooking, we will season it with the salt, pepper, and paprika that we have on the side, as well as the lime juice. So in a minute here, in about a minute, I will add the shrimp. And then we can begin the cooking process, which should be about 2 to 3 minutes or until the shrimp is opaque. Kind of a light pinkish color and cooked all the way through. All right, I'm going to add in my shrimp. But we don't want any of the shrimp like juices to get in, so here we go. The last one in there. Make sure that they're all flat so they all cook evenly. And as you can see, shrimp looks like a nice gray color because they are still raw. So we're going to give them about 3 minutes. I'm going to watch them and make sure that they all cook evenly through. So here, all I'm doing is just cooking the shrimp. This part is sped up because shrimp is not that interesting to watch. Literally just watching and waiting for it to become pink and opaque. And then once this goes back to a normal pace, that's when I will be adding in the seasoning and the lemon juice, which should be happening right about now. What to do is I'm going to throw in the lime juice and the paprika before the shrimp starts cooking too much through. I'm going to mix it around because right now that paprika is all over that one shrimp. Just a small pinch of salt. And then a small pinch of pepper. we go. So now that our shrimp is beautifully seasoned, I'm going to continue to mix them around and make sure that they do not burn. So I've just been letting the shrimp cook, and they have been cooking very nicely, so I did not want them to burn. So I've just been keeping up and making sure that I am cooking them to the right time and not letting them cook for too long or too short. And so these should be done in about 30 seconds or so. They should be pretty close to being finished. And then they will cook a little more when I take them out of the pan because of the residual heat. So these are starting to look nice and pink, nice and opaque. So now I'm going to turn off the heat. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this here. I'm going to bring this bowl here. I'm going to transfer the shrimp to this bowl so that, one, they stop cooking, because I don't want them to burn. And I do not need them yet. So just finishing up transferring the shrimp to the bowl so that they stop cooking, and so that I can set the pan aside to let it cool so that I can watch it when we're done. To bring forward this pan. I'm going to get this pan nice and hot, because now we're going to actually start the process of cooking actual quesadillas, that's what they're called. And so in making quesadillas, you need to be pretty fast, because quesadillas tend to cook very fast and very quickly. Quesadillas are not your friend if you are a slow cooker. Your cheese. And you want to sprinkle some of that cheese on first. Obviously I missed, so that cheese is going to burn. There. Not too much cheese, not too little. I'm going to take some of this shrimp and we're just gonna throw them in there like the recipe calls for. I'll do this quickly so that the cheese doesn't melt too much. Sprinkle a little more cheese. Not too much. And we'll take the second tortilla, and we're going to place it on top. Locking in everything that's in there. So that's locked in place. Now you just want to watch it, and because you don't want one side to burn. You want it to be nice and golden brown, still white. Now these quesadillas are a little more puffy because they have the shrimp in it. Starting to melt and cook. The bottom is starting to get a little more brown. I'm gonna leave it on the heat for a tad bit longer, about 10 seconds to 15 seconds or so. Quesadillas cook really fast, so you want to be careful and you actually want to watch it, because if you wait too long, it will burn before you know it. Like now. So that flip was not good at all. I lost the shrimp, which I'm going to try and shove back in, and my top tortilla fell off. I did not put enough cheese, so it completely fell off. Now that's okay. It's not exactly what you want, but it does happen. You just have to be prepared. And the top quesadilla, the top part of the quesadilla, also cooks pretty fast. Arguably faster than the first side. So you just want to be careful. And we're going to do this again. Yes, so that's done. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go around this side. I'm just going to slide it onto the plate and get it off that pan as fast as possible. Okay. So as you can see, that did not go as planned. We're going to do it the same way. We're going to try it again, and hopefully this time the tortilla will not fall off. So I'm making another quesadilla the exact same way as the last time that I showed you, But this one I'm speeding up only because you've seen it before, and this time I'm just doing it again so we can get a nicer quesadilla, just so we can get a better picture at the end of the product. Now it's going really fast, and I'm going to cut back to it when it's finished right about now. So this is what the tortilla looks like when we are finished. Now, if you want to take a peek on the inside, you can see how the cheese is nicely melted. And if you want more cheese, you can sprinkle more cheese around the edges to kind of seal this off. But generally speaking, because the shrimp is so wide, the tortilla definitely needs a lot more cheese around the edges to hold it together. And as you can see, a beautiful quesadilla with shrimp inside. So as I don't have a 3-part sink, I'm just using a 2-part sink, and I'm washing this bowl with really hot water and a nice good amount of soap just to get it cleaned and to prevent any pathogens from living on it. And this bowl will be air dried above as soon as I'm done with it. Now we are cleaning and sanitizing the workstation. So I first wiped it down with a hot paper towel with soap on it, wiped it down, and then I wiped it down with a pass of just a wet paper towel to get off all that soap. And then I wiped it with a clean sanitizer to keep the surface clean. And then after that, I did clean the stove, but that did not get shown. And there you have it. Shrimp quesadillas from start to finish, including the sanitization as well as the prep.